Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Heather, and I'm here with my colleagues to discuss the recent issues surrounding the GlucoGauge blood glucose monitors. Our team has prepared a comprehensive briefing to address the situation and outline our recommended actions to deal with some of the issues that have come up. We were initially notified of incorrect readings from the first shipment of GlucoGauge devices. This prompted us to re-review our QA testing to determine if these misreadings were due to user error or device errors. After researching, we felt that the issue was with the device, prompting us to replace the old devices and send out new improved ones. Through this decision, we thought the issue was resolved. However, now we are receiving reports that 8 people have passed away and they were using our replacement version of the device. Now that the situation has been summarized, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Lizette so she can go further into the details of the situation.
Thank you, Heather. I would like to give a detailed summary of what happened. After interviewing several medical practitioners, we determined that the inaccurate readings were due to user misuse. We then worked with Nick Bay, our VP of Marketing, and we allocated marketing expenditure approved by the board to repackage the instructions and also translate them to a second language. We also went on a campaign to educate users. So we spent $200,000 on packaging and $450,000 on communication campaign. While we were doing there, the manufacturing team actually discovered that microprocessors had some compatible issues with the newer strips. So we decided to send a second batch. I work with Daniel Vasquez, our VP of Operations, and we sent a second replacement to all GlucoGauge users. No employers were let go because we used our suppliers' compensation to issue a replacement device, so we had no significant losses. I will now pass it on to Errol.
Thank you, Lizette. I am Errol Bozoan, Vice President of Product Development. My task is to develop new and innovative products such as GlucoGauge and to make sure that these products work out effectively and safely. Unfortunately, there have been some developments recently that we need to address immediately and in the best possible manner. You might have heard we got the information that 8 people died, 8 of our customers. We are not sure yet if these deaths are related to our device. We are still conducting an extensive investigation. But certainly, we need to talk about all the steps we need to take because this has a potential to damage our reputation and our brand seriously. As an immediate and fast action, our team has successfully tracked the affected units. These are 2 units in the New York area, and I ordered an immediate recall of the whole 2 units to prevent further probable deaths. And we also contacted with the families of the deceased customers, and we conveyed our support and condolences. And as a side note, we also had a syncing problem with the smartphones. We noticed that some of the customers are not updating their phones as frequently as needed, and as a solution, we recommended more frequent updates to our customers. From now on, my colleague Lizette will continue. Lizette.
Thank you, Errol. I just want to inform the board of the analysis we did for every decision. The first decision regarding the instructions, those were not sunk costs because our instructions were not clear enough. So it was necessary to reprint them. It was necessary to translate the instructions and to instruct our patients about the use of a GlucoGauge device. The second decision, again, because we learned the outsourced microprocessors were the thing that was causing the issues, they compensated us. So we really didn't have any significant losses and we were able to retain all of our employees. I will pass it on to Nelly for some of the recommendations that we have for you.
Thank you, Lisette. As mentioned 2 weeks ago, we shipped the upgraded units to the greater New York area. Recently, we received notifications of 8 deaths potentially linked to the device. Incorrect readings can lead to improper insulin dosing, posing severe health risks. Stakeholders are concerned about the safety and reliability of the product, the accuracy of the device for patient care, the impact on claims and coverage, compliance with safety standards, and the financial and reputational impact on the company. With this in mind, we recommend initiating a product recall for the entire batch shipped to the greater New York area and issuing a public notification to inform customers and stakeholders about the recall. In the long term, we will conduct a thorough investigation to identify and rectify the root cause of the malfunction, update user instructions to ensure proper usage of the device, and implement additional quality control measures to prevent future issues. Our communication strategy will focus on developing clear and consistent messaging for all stakeholders and providing regular updates on the investigation and recall process. Now, I will pass it over to Cameron to talk a bit more on communication strategy and potential press questions.
Hello, and thank you. I want to brief you on our communication strategy and how we can craft a statement for the press. Our communication strategy is based on customer well-being, integrity, and transparency. And whenever we answer a question, we want to use those 3 points to best release statements to the press. To ensure we are fully prepared for the press, we've anticipated potential questions that will address the concerns of both our consumers and our shareholders. Some of those questions are you aware of the reports of the deaths? After the recall, what is your plan with GlucoGauge in the future? And what resolutions are there for GlucoGauge users? We wanted to get in front of these questions in order for us to preserve our reputation. It is important that we maintain transparency regarding these incidents, specifically with the reports of the deaths. We need to explain that we've worked with relevant agencies, the FDA, local authorities, and the circumstances surrounding these deaths are still being investigated. And this would segue into why we are deciding to recall the device when we do release a statement. Another question we are going to go ahead and prepare for is, how did this happen and what steps did you take to mitigate it? As Lizeth had already explained during the decision-making processes that we took, we've improved on-package directions, educated clinics on proper usage of the device, offered classes on how to use the device, translated the directions into a second language, and further investment into potentially replacing defective microprocessors. I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Jack, who's going to talk to you about questions from shareholders. Thank you.
Thank you, Cameron. We anticipate shareholders will have questions regarding the recall. First and foremost, should they be concerned, this recall will certainly have an impact on revenue this quarter, as there will be costs to returning the devices as well as stopping sales of GlucoGauge, at least in the short term. While these are valid concerns, we want to emphasize in this press release that this decision is being made for customer well-being and safety, and that ultimately in the long term, that is what is best for Matterhorn Health's success as well. We also expect there to be questions on what's next for GlucoGauge. We want to reiterate that there is clear customer demand for such a device. And once the root cause of inaccurate readings is addressed and proven through field testing to be resolved, we can consider reintroducing GlucoGauge or a revised product similar to GlucoGauge. So while announcing the recall, we want to say that we're taking this action immediately. due to uncertainty in measurement accuracy. We do not necessarily want to claim any unnecessary liability related to deaths or other media reports at this time, as we're still investigating. Previous slide, please. Heather, can you please go back one slide?
Oh, sorry about that.
Thank you. Next, we want to educate the consumer base on short-term alternatives because they do need these blood glucose readings. So we need to lean into educating our consumers on alternatives, and we can use our website and healthcare practitioners to achieve this. And then finally, we want to set expectations with our customers and shareholders that we are going to continue to be open and honest and share or communicate what we're finding at least on a quarterly basis, hopefully more often than that. So our next steps in implementing the recall is set up a service to return the devices. We recommend allowing patients to return devices to healthcare practitioners or through paid mailing provided by Matterhorn. Next, we need to educate the customer base, which can be done through physicians, our website, and press releases such as this one. And then finally, we need to determine the root cause of inaccuracy and implement corrective actions to get a device such as GlucoGauge back on the market, helping customers, driving revenue. For a final parting message, I will have my coworker Caleb take over. Thank you.
Caleb will be giving us an example of what our press release could be when that time comes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Caleb Culberson, and I'll be providing an update. Matterhorn is aware of the situation at hand. We are. And we want to let you know that our number one priority here at Matterhorn is the health and safety of our customers. We understand that doctors have provided us with misreadings of the device, and about 8 new deaths have been reported that have been linked to our device. As of today, the deaths are still being under investigation, and we will go ahead and be clear and concise on when we get the update of those deaths. Like I mentioned, Matterhorn is taking this very seriously, and we invested in marketing efforts to instruct users. In addition, we have decided to move forward with a product recall and conduct a thorough investigation on what happened. There are a few immediate next steps we plan to take. One, we plan to improve package directions. We want to make sure it's more clear, it's more concise, people understand it, so people can use it better. We want to educate the clinics on proper usage, so they can be coaches and advocates on our behalves, so they can correctly make sure that people are using the product in a timely, in a good fashion. We want to offer classes on how to use the device. We want to translate the directions in a second language to broaden our horizon. And then also we want to further make investments in replacing defective devices. So those are some of the things that we plan to do as immediate actions. And we plan to take that effective immediately. Thank you and have a good day. And thank you for being a customer.